Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day of Today in Quarantine. As always, I'm your host, Renee Cross, and you are watching episode 25. Now, if you missed yesterday, I have good news. You didn't actually miss it. I didn't go live yesterday for the first time in 24 days. I didn't go live, and that is because I was at the College View Church, and I was going to try and go live, but I didn't have the permissions to do so with my phone, which is an interesting feature of YouTube that I didn't know, but now I know. But if I did upload a video, so if you're wondering what I did in quarantine yesterday, go check out the channel over there and watch the video. Episode 24 is online. It's very short. You'll enjoy it. Well, since it's been 2 days, I feel like I have to catch up everybody on everything, but really nothing's happened in my life. So that's exciting. Today in quarantine, I ate an entire Tupperware full of cantaloupe. I essentially ate an entire cantaloupe today for lunch. I'm kind of sick of eating and sick of making food. And so, what did I have for lunch? A cantaloupe. Yes, an entire cantaloupe. And it was great. And I'm a little bit hungry now because fruit usually makes me hungry. It doesn't fill me up quite as much. But it was a really good cantaloupe. I'll have to do that again someday. I just chopped it up and I was like, why not? Grabbed some chopsticks and ate the whole cantaloupe. It's good cantaloupe. And a little update on my garden. So I've started composting. However, the problem is that I have not yet put the dirt in the box. And so I just have a lot of compost that's kind of sitting in my kitchen. So I need to really put the dirt in the box soon, but I can't plant anything because it's cold. But I need to put the dirt in. But I need to put the legs back on because I moved it without the legs. And I have to put the legs back on when it's outside, so it's kind of cold. It's been a whole mess, and so I just need to figure that out sooner rather than later, so I can start composting in the actual dirt instead of just in my kitchen. That might be a little bit more beneficial. But some of my cucumbers, which were the first ones to spring up, I think they've died a little bit. They just kind of slowly. All right, I took them outside one day on Saturday because it was a really nice day outside. So I took them outside and put them in the sunlight for a little bit, get some sun. And I took them back inside that night, and they were wilted. I guess the sun was too much for them. So I've resorted to bringing them back inside and shrink wrapping or putting plastic wrap around the box so that I can kind of have a controlled environment. They were in my garage for a little bit, but it's getting cold and the weather's just undependable. I'd moved them to my garage because my cats were digging into the plants, and they had taken one of the little dirt pucks that I had, and I found one in the living room, and my plants are not in the living room, so it was a little bit much, and so I had to move quickly. But do not fear, it's okay. We're okay now, I think. Yeah, we're okay. Oh, my plants are getting sunlight, so it's all good in the neighborhood. Let's see, what else today in quarantine? So there's this TikTok video that I've really related with very recently. It's this band director on TikTok who said she put up a video of her logging in to do her to check her assignments and do some grading, and she had 6 out of 67 assignments turned in, which is basically was my life last week. However, all my students got really busy this weekend and turned in a lot of their assignments. I had 27 assignments this morning that I had to grade, which it feels like a lot, or it doesn't feel like a lot, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a significant number for me, I guess. It's just kind of seeing who's actually being engaged with this. So out of my 4 schools, my 4 classes, 3 of them had assignments that they had to turn in this week. 3 schools, that is, had assignments they had to turn in this week. And my biggest class, I'd say about 35% of them turned something in. And my smallest class, what would that be? about 20% of them turned it in, I guess. So, yeah. But we're also seeing these numbers of participation go down. I recently read an article from NPR that says about 30 to 45% of students are actually participating in online school. And this is not their, like, it is their fault, but we're also trying not to blame them for something. For example, we've moved in our secondary world, we've moved to a system of just getting content through and learning instead of grading, which is excellent. I wish we'd been doing that for the whole time, but alas. And we are doing satisfactory versus unsatisfactory grades instead of the A through F scale, which is very good because then we can just kind of give students grades that they need based on if they participate in the learning or not. And most of my students who've turned stuff in, I had two or three things that they needed to turn in this week. Most of them did not turn in all three. However, they were engaging with the content. And so I was saying, hey, that's satisfactory. I'm just looking for people who are practicing, looking for people who are putting in the work to engage, because we can't control a lot of what's going on right now. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. We're living in a time when we can't control things. But speaking of control, this segment is called Pixar movies and life lessons with Pixar movies. The other Pixar movie that I've watched recently is the most recent Pixar movie, Onward, which I think I've talked about the fact that Disney put their newly released movies onto their streaming service, Disney Plus, and Onward was one of them. It's about these like elves. It's like a magical kingdom type of thing, and they're wandering around and doing their elf thing. Anyway, there's some magic involved, and there's two brothers, and their father died when they were young. Well, the older one, it died when the older one was young, and before the younger one was born. And they find this magic spell that can bring their father back, even for just a day. And yeah, so they like cast a spell essentially, and they do it, except they don't cast it properly, and so only the father's, like, from his waist down is the only part of him that exists. And so they like scramble to find the rest of to find the rest of the spell, to cast the rest of the spell so that they can get their father back. It's a very interesting movie. It's very involved. Yeah, it was kind of weird. I don't think it was my favorite Pixar movie, but it was okay. It was a good story. The big theme in there is this idea of brotherhood. The younger brother essentially realizes that he's never had that father figure in his life, except he finds that father figure in an unexpected place. And so it's just a nice little story, just to kind of remember the importance of family, I guess, is what it is. Good movie. Check it out if you have time. If not, it's totally fine. It's not one of Pixar's. I don't think it's one of Pixar's greats. I could be wrong, but it's all subjective. Anyway, today's weather is sunny, but it's cold. It's about 50 degrees here in Lincoln, Nebraska. So it's a nice day, but it's cold. So it's just nice. I haven't really been outside today a lot. I had to go to get my stuff in my car. I finally started doing my taxes, which I found out are not due until July 15th. So even though I was slacking off, because today's April 13th, even though I was slacking off, they're not due until July 15th. So I'm not slacking off that badly. So there you go. Doing taxes as an actual adult is a strange thing. It's just kind of seeing how much money you earned, and you're like, oh, wow, okay, that's a lot of money. Yeah. One thing that I've been thinking about this weekend is buying a house. Not that I'm interested in buying a house right now. No. But I have a friend who recently bought a house, and I was just thinking about it. She's not much older than me. I was just thinking, like, why would I want to buy a house? Um, I guess that's never really been a dream of mine. But I guess for some people it is. I mean, go off, go live your life. But I guess go buy a house. So for today's dad jokes segment, I was thinking about doing some fruit jokes, but I couldn't even find a pair of them to make it work. But I forgot to get my laugh track pulled up. That's okay. Um, actually, one day I was at work, and this is a true story. One day I was at work, and I walked in on a conversation between my coworkers, and they're like, "Oh, I just really like the Apple," and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." And the other one's like, "No, I'm really more of a BlackBerry fan," and I was like, "Okay, well, we're really talking about phones right now. That's okay." Um, that's true. All right, cool. And then they're like, "Yeah, no, but I think the peach flavor is the best." And it turns out that they were actually talking about sparkling water and the different types of water they were talking about. So yeah, there's another joke for you. That was a confusing time. There are a couple of comments in here. There's lots and lots of rain in Connecticut, says my mom. That's true. I saw the forecast and it just looks like there's been a lot of rain. We actually yesterday we had a hailstorm of ginormous proportions. There was so much hail. It was at about 5 in the morning yesterday morning, Sunday morning, and hail just came. It was just all over the place. It was actually ridiculous. There was lightning and thunder that accompanied it. It woke me up, which I'm a very heavy sleeper. So if anything wakes me up, it's pretty loud. Um, and it was terrifying. There was a lot of lightning, but yeah, it was very strange. But I'm glad we survived. In some parts of Nebraska, there was hail the size of a golf ball or so. Here it was about the size of a dime, maybe a quarter in some places. I did pick some up. I guess that's just God's way of giving me an ice maker from my fridge because I don't have one. That's okay. All right. Andrew says taxes are the most confusing thing you could ever do as an adult. I have found that using one of the online tax services like TurboTax or HR Block has really helped. Um, except the only thing is that you need to actually have the W-2s. I don't know where some of my W-2s are, but I'll find them soon. Let's see. If I had a house, I would not have to buy dirt. That's true, Mom. And that's definitely probably the one aspect of having a house that I would like is that I could do things for it. Because I was just thinking, I was like, I'd really like to remodel this apartment because I like the location of it. I just don't like the layout. And I was like, well, I can't because it's not my place. Nice emoji, Mom. Way to go. Do I know anyone who speaks Thousand Island? No. But that reminds me. Um, what do you call, or what kind of clothes does salad wear? Ranch dressing. That was a pretty good one. All right. I don't know. I feel like that's my dad who's typing in. Do you know anyone who speaks Thousand Island? So I'm not really sure what the answer for that is. Let me know, please. I'd like to know. Uh, Italian, French. I don't know, Mom. I don't know. I do not know. Oh yeah, okay. I get it. I got it. Okay. Do you know anyone who speaks Thousand Island? No, I don't. But we do know people who speak Italian and French, and I guess ranch as well. Who knows? All right. That was okay. Yeah, it's okay, Mom. Keep trying. My mom really is a good person. She's really funny too, but she doesn't tell the jokes on my dad and I on our caliber. So when my dad and I get together and we talk, we're laughing, like dying of laughter. And my mom's like, "That wasn't funny," but it really was. So she probably just has a conventional sense of humor, and my dad and I don't, and that's okay. That's all right. All right. Oh, that was Dad's joke. Well, that's okay. See, that's context. Dad, you need to get your own YouTube account. All right. Well, then I agree with you, Mom. That wasn't a great joke. All right, everybody. This was Today in Quarantine. I'm your host, Renee Cross, and we'll see you again tomorrow for another episode, or tomorrow in quarantine for another episode of Today in Quarantine. Have a great day. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Bye.